Hey everybody, welcome to the new home of the Adventure Archive. Those of you who found us and returned, welcome back. I know it's going to be a little bit of time before a lot of the viewers figure out what happened, because you guys know how it is. You get subscribers and then they're kind of not really active subscribers. So spread the word, and don't forget to like the stream if you're watching right now or if you're watching in the future. Give us a like, because that'll help us grow back to the numbers we once were. Tonight we are playing Cairn 2 E, which I just received last week, so I backed the Kickstarter, and it comes in this really cool box. It's a big chunky box, and it comes with all this stuff on the back here. It comes with not two, but 3 players guide, so really good for around the table. Warden's guide, and then an adventure book called The Trouble in Twin Lakes, which that's what we're gonna be playing. Not tonight, tomorrow, next week. And then also an adventure anthology. So a lot of cool stuff packed in here. I also pinned the comment if you guys want to check the game out. So what's really cool about this game too, it's completely free. So if you don't want to spend any money at all, you can go to the pinned, did the pinned comment drop, or is it still up there? Oh man, did it leave? Let me pin it again. Pin message. There we go. So if you guys go to the top, you'll see that there's a ttrpg.com 2nd edition. All of the rules are on there. There's even a player generator. There's even a link to where if you do want to buy the print version, you can check it out there. But tonight we are going to make some characters. We thought, I haven't done these in a long time because Dragonbane ran for so damn long. But back in the old days of the Adventure Archive, I used to like to pick out new games that just came out, run a 0 session, learn the game as we play it. I still seem to be learning Dragonbane for some reason, even after 47 sessions. I forget rules. But anyway, if you guys would like to join in, make some characters along with us, participate, just check out the link. You can do it all for free. You don't need the books whatsoever. And the man who wrote this game is Yohai Gall. So thank you out there, Mr. Gall, for making this game completely free for those who want to play it. And also the tunes. We're listening to some new tunes from Heimat der Katastrophe. The link is down below. This is called The Druid's Apprentice. I thought it was fitting for the vibes. I have like so many of these albums that it's fun kind of listening through them and seeing what might fit the tone of the game. So that's it. Let's start. So Cairn, I am sharing the PDF right now. So this is the PDF on my screen, and we're just going to go through this thing and create these characters live. And here's all the credits, of course, and beautiful art by where's the name? Bruno Prosaico, who did the cover stuff, which is what you guys are seeing on the opening screen. Kenny Wijaya. Hopefully I got that right. And then the interior illustrations by Amanda Lee Frank. And then also Adam Hensley. So that's it. And there's the URL if you guys want to check it out. So first and foremost, I think what we should talk about is an overview. So this game, again, I've read the book. I've scanned the book a few times. It's not all internalized yet. But what I found most interesting is there's kind of a philosophy to this. So it's not meant to be played like any other game you've played out there, really. Now, of course, there's similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well. So we'll just go through this briefly. So neutrality, the warden, that's going to be me, is a neutral arbiter. So I know sometimes people out there have probably played with adversarial GMs, and that's no fun. But they're just trying to re-emphasize that the warden, the GM, if you will, is the person just to be the arbiter of the rules in the world. That's it, nothing more, not against the players. It's also a classless system, even though there are 20 backgrounds, and then I think even more than that online, that you can choose from. Those aren't classes per se, they're more like just an idea of how to play the character, where you're coming from, what your motivations might be, etc., etc. And you have different starting gear, but as ability-wise, it's all the same as to my knowledge. So death, of course, characters may be powerful, but they are also vulnerable to harm in many forms. So death is always around the corner. We'll get to HP, which doesn't stand for hit points in this game, a little bit later. Fiction first. So I love this rule because it's the story over the actual rule set. So if something seems cool, if something makes sense narratively, go with your gut. Go with that. It says here that arbitrated by, of course, Warden, and the dialogue with the players. So the players are also, it's like a collaborative experience, of course. Growth. So there is no leveling in this game, but characters are changed through in-world advancement, gaining new skills and abilities by surviving dangerous events and overcoming obstacles. We're probably not going to do that because I think we're just going to play this one adventure unless you guys love it, and I got 4 more adventures if you want. But yeah, we'll probably briefly touch on that. Player choice. The player should always understand the reasons behind the choices they've made and information about potential risks. So on that note, I know that may not make sense, but again, the philosophy of this game, and I was listening to some interviews with Yohai, and he was saying that, and it's emphasized in this book, in that me, as the warden, I should explain everything. I should not hide anything from you guys. As long as you guys are asking the right questions, I should explain everything you see, everything you smell, experience, etc., etc. So if there appears to be a trap, and you're saying, hey, I'm looking for traps, you will just see this stuff. So the idea here, based on my reading, is that if you die, it should be because you knew what the odds were in that regard. So it's not it's not like some games where I'm not going to try to trick you, where you're walking down a hallway and haha, surprise, the floor falls out from under you and you land in a bed of spikes, right? This is not that kind of game. This is a game where you should be given all of the information necessary to make an informed decision. So if that made sense, hopefully. Principles: the warden and the players each have guidelines that help foster specific play experience, defined by critical thinking, exploration, and emergent narrative. And then shared objectives. Players trust one another to engage with the shared setting, character goals, and party challenges. Therefore, the party is typically working together towards a common goal as a team. So I've played in plenty of games where it ends up being PvP at some point. Somebody gets a weird motivation in their head and they think it's funny to be, against the players. We split the party or whatever. This is basically alerting everybody who's going to play this game. Hey, we're all in this together. We're supposed to be a party acting on a singular goal, not at odds with each other, because there's plenty of danger around the corner. I'll just go through this quickly. Talking, caution, planning, ambition. We don't need to really talk about that. So let's talk about character creation. Oh, Amerison's here. What's going on? I forgot to say hi to the chat. Let's do that really quick. So we got Sam Darks here, of course. Welcome, Sam. Mario, I don't recognize your name, so glad to have you. And Bunny Cats Likes. Oh, welcome. I know you from the Dragonbane stuff. And I guess that's it. And Amerison, of course. Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, guys. All right, character creation. Let's move into it. So all of the players have their little character sheets. Oh, by the way, I get this question a lot. We are running the Foundry VTT system right now. There is, in fact, a Cairn system. It's completely free. So that's what we're going to be using. If you guys want to go check that out if you own Foundry. All right, so the first thing we have to do, everybody, roll or choose a background. So what do you guys want to do? Does anybody want to just randomly decide what your background's going to be? Do you guys have anything in mind as far as what you want to be? And here's the hearty list of backgrounds. There are 20. And once we determine what you guys are going to be, we'll kind of check them out in detail on the actual background pages.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Yeah, I want to roll.
All right, let's do it. Roll it up. Okay, Matt rolls a 5. You are a cut purse. So while the other players are thinking about what they're going to do, we'll take a look at cut purse really quickly. So the cut purse, I mean, it's pretty much a thief, right? Mm-hmm. So you live in the gray space between those who have power and those who don't. You find opportunity where others see only chaos. With nimble fingers, you unburden both the richest merchant and the lowliest guard. So this is going to be your starting gear, Matt.
Yeah.
You're going to get 3d6 gold pieces, rations, 3 uses, torch, 3 uses, twin daggers, d6, d6 bulky. So that's kind of cool. Basically in this game, you can attack twice. So if you're like, if you have a dagger in each hand, you can say, I'm going to attack with both daggers. And what you do is you roll the 2d6 and you take the best of the result, and that's the damage dealt. It's as simple as that. There's no like, oh, there's disadvantage if I have two hands or I have to have a special skill. That's easy. A padded leather, which is worth 1 armor, lockpicks, and a black outfit. And in parentheses, it says petty. In this game, petty objects don't count toward your inventory. So I believe he says something in the book along the lines of, I think, 100 gold pieces, for instance, is a petty object. And it's going to be up to my discretion. And those, because inventory is going to be a very significant part of this game as well. So cut purse. That's Matt. Who wants to roll or choose next?
Well, shouldn't he roll for the? There's 2 more things to roll for.
He can roll the. Well, I mean, he can choose the backgrounds, right? Or his background. He already got that.
It's
Go back to the top.
Underneath the gear. What was his last big job?
Oh, he needs to roll. Oh shit! I didn't look at that. You're right.
Let me go back. Steal?
Let me go back to cut purse. I didn't go to page 2. Sorry, viewers. Yeah, what was your last big job? Roll a d6.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
3. A guild warehouse. Take a ladder. It's a bulky and 10 feet. Bulky, I believe, counts as 2 items in your inventory. I'll have to remind myself. And blinding powder, 1 use. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess you got to roll another d6, yeah.
What helps you
steal? 3. Glimpse glass. 3 uses. A monocle that lets you see through walls or other obstructions. It shatters after that last use. Ooh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that is.
See through walls. Damn.
Yeah. So I'll start adding all that stuff to my sheet.
Yeah, cool. All right, so that is Matt's cut purse. What do we want? Who wants to go next?
Who's next?
Hopefully I'm not making anybody seasick scrolling, but I got to go all the way back to the top.
Sorry, that was for my gold.
Oh, no worries.
I will. I'll go ahead and roll next.
Go for it.
Roll.
Let me maybe page down is a better. There we go.
I got 8. I'm a foundling.
A foundling. Oh, the foundling is the little weird elf-like creature, right? Or little.
An odd birthmark, a strange smell. Somehow the touch of elsewhere still lingers. Wherever you are, you have trouble fitting in. Roll on the omens table, even if you're not the youngest player. But keep the results private for now.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you can roll that in private, Joe. You don't have to roll on stream just so nobody can see. So there is an omens table. Yeah, we'll get to that. And that is kind of cool with the foundling is that you get one of those anyway. You get 3d6 gold pieces, rations, torch, salt pouch, heirloom amulet. Its petty glows in the presence of magic. You're going to have to remind me of that. Actually, I probably should write all this stuff down because I'm going to forget. You get a sling, which is a d6, and a dagger, which is a d6. And then you got to roll some other things, right? You got to roll...
Who took
you in?
A gruff blacksmith from a sleepy river town. You were always kept at arm's length. Now the forge is cold, and you've moved on. Take a smith's apron and a set of oft-mended chainmail.
Wow.
Okay.
Chainmail, that's pretty cool. So that's worth 2 armor, and it's also bulky.
What keeps bad tidings at bay? Roll again. 5. Drowning rod. A finger-sized wooden stick that doubles in size each time it is fully submerged in water. It does not shrink down again. Okay.
All right, cool. The foundling. All right, who's next?
I'll go.
All right, are you going to roll too?
Yeah.
I love it. Everybody's rolling. Spirit of the game.
Wait, did I just roll? That was weird. I pressed the
Yeah,
button.
you rolled a 1.
Oh, I did.
Yep.
So.
Man, I wish I could.
Don't know how to pronounce that. Orifex?
Here we go, back to the top. Orifex, yes. So this is kind of alchemist-ish, I think. So you are an artisan of the arcane, a smith of subtle forces in the crucible of your workshop. The laws that govern this world are warped to suit your needs. And you get 3d6 gold pieces, rations, a lantern, an oil can, needle knife, and protective gloves. That's cool. So I guess you could probably like put your hands in fire or something if you wanted to, or something dangerous if needed. And then also, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, there's names at the bottom of all of these backgrounds. You guys are welcome to choose one or make up your own, whatever you want to do. But they kind of give you a vibe, I guess. So the first other thing you got to roll is what experiment went horribly wrong for you, Jess? 2. You dematerialized a beloved pet. Oh no, that's too bad. Now it follows you around, invisible but always present. Although it cannot interact with the physical realm, you are able to share its sense. Add a fatigue each time. So fatigue we'll talk about when we get there, but that actually counts against your inventory, which kind of sucks, but it follows basic commands. So that's pretty neat. So you, I guess, do you have any ideas of a pet that you dematerialized?
Probably like a cat.
Okay.
I think probably a cat. Like my shop cat.
Okay, your shop cat. I like it. Yeah, this seems like a really great tool because imagine, you know, sending this little cat off to do some stuff.
It couldn't interact with the physical.
No, it can't interact with physical objects, but for instance,
it can like spy.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to, when you share its sense, you add a fatigue, and we'll get into what that means. But so it's like I don't want to say it's like willpower points in Dragonbane, but basically it adds to your inventory, which obviously means you can hold less. It's kind of just like you being stressed out. Same rules for every time somebody casts a spell, which is cool in this game. Anybody can cast a spell, but it causes fatigue. All right, and the last thing you got to roll for is what alchemical marvel is the product of your latest ingenuity? That's another d6. 2. Blast sphere, a head-sized iron ball filled with explosive powder that explodes on impact. D12 blast, bulky, one use. That's cool. So the way blast works in this game, it's kind of like AoE in a way, right? It's it'll affect like multiple people. So if you had like a crowd of, like, you're being followed by, I don't know, 5 ruffians or something, brigands, you can throw this and blow them up, and that will affect all of them. And I think if there's and you roll for each target. So if there's 5 people, you'd roll a d12 5 times. So it's kind of neat how it's going to like scale the damage depending on, you know, the random number. And I think in the rules, if there's a question as to, well, how many did it hit? Is it like, is this guy too far away? You roll the d12, and then whatever that number is how many people it hits.
Okay. Cool.
So that's cool. All right, last but not least, Mr. Shadowy shadowy figure. Ducky, are you gonna roll or pick?
I'm gonna roll.
All right, I love it. Embrace the roll tables. 10. What is that? I guess I can scroll a little back up.
Greenwise.
Greenwise. Okay, I shouldn't scroll all the way back up. Let me just do a search here. That'll be easier. Greenwise. Okay. So you delve deep into the wood. Wood being a capital W. So wood in this game, we'll talk about the setting a little bit. It's the Vald. And then there's the wood and the roots. So prying its secrets from between rough boughs and whispering leaves, to this verdant kingdom, you are no mere scholar, but its confidant as well. Interesting. So you're kind of like Gideon a little bit, except like focused on the woods. But if you don't want that, you can roll again if you'd like.
Oh no, I'll take it.
You'll take it. Okay.
It's like I'm at home.
It's like at your home. 3d6 gold, rations, a torch, an iron pot, a root knife, that's d6, healing salve, restores 1d4 strength. Ooh, that's going to be incredibly useful. 1 use. Twine bauble, it's petty. Ward once per day. I don't know what ward is. I'm guessing that's some kind of spell or something. Oh, it says right here. Maybe I should just keep reading. A silver circle 50 feet across appears on the ground. Choose one species that cannot cross it. Wow, that's cool. Cool. All right, and then let's roll a d6 for how has the wood failed you? And you rolled a 2. Close friend disappeared into the forest. Now you see their face in any tea you brew. Take a soporific concoction. 3 uses. Okay. I like how multiple of these are like tragic. So Jess like destroyed her cat, her lab cat, and you had a close friend disappear in the forest. The next thing you got to roll is what keeps you safe while in the wood. 6. Briar vine entangles any creature up to a horse size. Strength to break free, reusable. So that's just a strength save.
Oh my god, it's my whip.
I know, right? It's crazy. He's like the spiritual successor to Gideon. That's awesome that it's reusable as well. And I don't see any kind of it's unlimited usage. That's cool. So Sam is playing along. You rolled up a half witch named Bren carrying a briar thorn and carrying a stone tree sap concoction. Nice, man. That sounds cool. Yeah, I love the flavor. This is a much deeper did Cairn 1 have backgrounds? I don't think it did. Maybe it did. I can't remember. It's been so long. But I love the flavor in this. Okay, so did everybody roll their gold?
Yep.
And gold is the only currency in this, by the way, which is great. You don't need to worry about silver and copper and all that stuff.
What about Electrum?
Electrum. Okay, so next up, so we did the backgrounds already. Choose a name for the available list. You guys can choose one or make one up. We don't need to worry about that just right now. See inventory and inventory slots and how to record them. So inventory slots, we'll scroll down a little bit here in the rule guide. So you have a total of 10 inventory slots, but can only carry 4 items comfortably without the help of bags, backpacks, horses, etc. Each of you, though, does start with a backpack, so make sure to note that on your sheet. That can hold up to 6 slots of items or fatigue. So we'll talk about fatigue a little bit later. And then carts, which must be pulled with both hands, horses or mules, can make a huge difference. And hirelings as well. So this is kind of old school in that regard where, you know, you may have to like cart a bunch of gear to the entrance of the dungeon and stuff. But we'll worry about that later. Inventory is abstract, dependent. Okay, here we go. Only on the fiction as adjudicated by the warden. Anyone carrying a full inventory, filling all 10 slots is reduced to 0 HP, which is hit protection, not hit points in this, which we'll talk about. A character cannot fill more than 10 slots. So keep that in mind. Most items take up 1 slot unless otherwise indicated. And here we talk about petty and bulky. So petty items do not take up any slots at all. Bulky items take up 2 slots. So like your ladder, Matt. A bag of coins worth less than 100 gold pieces is petty and does not occupy a slot. So we'll just kind of figure that out. So most items are going to take up 1 slot, like a lantern, probably a torch. Anything that's smaller, like, I don't know, necklaces, coins, a scroll, I believe, is petty as well. But we'll just figure that out as we go. So next up, I think you guys are rolling attributes now. Let's see here. Roll on each of the included tables on the background. Wait. No, we already did that. Abilities. Some backgrounds may ask you to refer to the backgrounds in the marketplace. Attributes. There we go. Roll for your character's attributes and hit protection. That's what HP stands for. Roll for your character's traits. So the way to roll for attributes is 3d6 down the line, and you can switch two. So you roll in order first, and then you can swap any two of those results. And the attributes are strength, dexterity, and willpower. So willpower pretty much takes care of like wisdom, intelligence, charisma. Dexterity is pretty obvious. Strength also, though, is kind of your constitution. So in other games, what you might have to roll against con, you're going to roll against strength. So Matt rolled a 16. Damn, that's pretty good right off the bat. You guys are free to roll when you wish. And just drop.
I was going to wait till he was done. So
it doesn't mess up the... yeah, okay. So 16, 9 for Dex, unless you want to switch it, which I'm guessing you will. And then one more. 12, not bad. Decent scores. I'm guessing you're going to want to put that 16 on your Dex. Hell yeah. Okay, Joey's got a 10. Ooh, look at that. 15, nice. Oh, no. Oh, a ducky rolled a 5. Okay. Okay, 7 for Joey, the last one. Come on, Ducky. You can do better than 5. I know you can.
I hope so.
There we go. 13.
I'll take it.
Oof. Another 7. So 7, 7, 13. So really, you have one attribute that that you can move around because the other two are exactly the same. Oh no, Jess, rolls aren't so hot either. 8 so far, 5. Okay, there's a good one. 15. At least all of you guys have at least one good score.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is a roll under system. So you just roll a d20 as long as you hit your attribute and under. Succeed. Anything else is a fail. A 1 is always a success. Or no, yes. And then a 20 is always a failure. So kind of like, Dragons and Demons. But in this game, I'll let you guys know that I feel like you're probably going to be doing less saves. I think that's how it's working in my head anyway. This game seems to really advocate for you to use your head and describe in detail what you'd like to do to mitigate having a roll, because rolls really are just there to if something is risky, then you'll have to roll. So, breaking down a door, unless being loud is going to be risky, you might have to roll against it. But it's definitely encouraging you to not be like, hey, can I get a strength check? Hey, can I do this? Hey, can I try this? What is that? It's more like, well, tell me what you really want to do in detail, and then we'll see if you even need a roll. So the idea really is to be creative and explain yourself in such a way that doesn't require a roll, I think. Okay. So everybody's rolled that up.
Oh, man.
What'd you roll now?
A 1.
What'd you roll the 1d6 for, though?
Hit protection.
Oh, crap. Hit protection's 1. Yeah. So, again, that reflects your ability to avoid damage in combat. This is not health points or hit points. It does not indicate, here we go, health or fortitude, nor do they lose it for very long. This is what's cool about this game. So when you lose it, it's pretty easy to get it back. You pretty much just have to have like a short rest, get some water, of course be in a safe spot, but that's it, and it all comes back. You don't need to roll to see how much you get back or anything like that. But 1, whew, Did you have any armor? I can't remember. Did you roll any armor?
Mm-hmm. Well,
You
I have the oft mended chainmail.
Oh, that's right. So you can absorb two damage, which is good. Okay. Everybody rolled your... Yeah, okay. You guys all did your hit protection. And then... oh, just so you guys know, it's right here. So if an attack takes a PC's HP exactly to 0, the player must reference scars. So that's exactly 0. It's not like it pauses on 0 and then keeps going. If it goes over 0, it starts sucking into your strength, which is more difficult to recoup. We can briefly look at the scars table. So here's the scars table, everybody. And let's say that... so I guess if it took 3 damage to get you to 0... you're going to be walloped. You're sent flying and land flat on your face, winded, you're deprived. And deprived is another thing we'll talk about. Until you rest for a few hours, then roll 1d6. Add that amount to your max HP. Oh, that's interesting. Does that mean you actually... That sounds like you get to go beyond 1, Joey, if that would have been you. If it's max, that's kind of cool. Okay. Where were we? Sorry for all the scrolling again, everybody. Oh yeah, character traits, I guess. Is that where we are? Hell yeah. Okay. So again, you guys, if you have ideas in your head of what your character looks like and how they act, that's totally fine. Otherwise, you can roll for your physique to start.
So, on the character sheet, there's a description tab. But there isn't like an edit. I don't have an edit button.
Oh, let me see really quick. Sometimes...
Me neither.
Description. Oh, you're right. There's no like... I guess we'll just put it under notes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's too bad. I wonder why it's missing a... Too bad. Anyway. Foundry developer out there.
So, if you go to the compendium tab on Foundry, there's a character traits roll table.
Oh, look at that.
I just rolled for a rat face.
I totally I totally lied. Yeah, okay. So there is I shouldn't say I lied. I didn't know. But there's tables, there's items, there's actors, there's the whole monsters thing is in here. Well, that's amazing. Great. So yeah, if you guys want to roll on that, feel free. So you are rat-like, Ducky, which I guess makes sense if you're hanging out in the wood. You might fit in a little bit with some of the forest folk.
You never know when you need to chew through a vine.
Yeah, you never know. That's what I like about... So that's another cool thing about this game. That right there is a great use of your trait. So you could, hypothetically, say, you know, I'm a very rat-like face. I feel like my teeth are probably somewhat, bunched together and kind of sharp. Like, could I bite through this rope? And then the answer would be, hell yes, you can. Because that's a cool idea. So always think about that. It's always, remember, fiction first is one of the key tenets of this game.
Which tab is traits under?
If you go into Foundry? I think it's under tables.
Compendium tables.
Character creation tables. And then it's under... Is that where it was,
items?
Ducky?
Yeah, I can't find it.
Where'd you find it, Ducky?
Is it scars?
No.
So if I go to the compendium,
I went to character creation, but I didn't see it. Unless I'm missing starting armor gear.
I had it. I see it under items, I think.
Yeah, that's where I went to.
There are 3 tabs: actors, items, and tables. And under items, there's a character traits.
All right. Okay, cool.
How do you roll it though, Ducky?
So if you click on the name, like expeditionary gear, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom, the roll button's there.
Oh, okay, so I'll click on physique. Oh, I see. Roll.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just click on the thing. It's cool because if you guys who are watching, you can check in the roll table down on the bottom. So, Matt, wait, Joey is towering, and Matt is stout, and Jess is stout. So, I'm sure that's you wanted to be a stout lady, Jess.
Yep.
We got Sam in the chat also rolled. Bryn has a rugged physique, tattooed skin, and frizzy hair. Face is sunken, speech cryptic. Oh, I like it. With elegant clothing, is ambitious and rude. See, that's the beauty of the tables, I think. Okay, everybody has their physical appearance or their physique. Next up is going to be skin.
I hope I get some.
Me so pale.
Let's see. Skin. So, Jess is dark. Joey is tattooed. And Ducky is tanned. Okay. Tan makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're outside all the time. Okay, and then next up is going to be hair. Let's see what the do's. Let's see what the do's are.
Curly
hair. Okay. Jess has frizzy hair, and Matt has long hair. What's Ducky's hair?
You guys get hair?
Yeah. Frizzy. We got 2 frizzy heads. Again, makes sense, right? You're outside in the wood, not paying much attention.
It's very humid.
Very humid. Okay, next up is face, everybody. Let's see what kind of faces you all have. So, I should be looking at the roll table here.
Stout and sunken.
You hold your weight in other areas. You have a very like sunken face, but you know you're thicker in other parts.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we got Joey is sharp face. Matt with a soft face, and Jess with a sunken face. And Ducky, did you roll your face yet?
Yeah, I rolled it before. It's,
I must have
rat-like.
missed it. Oh, that's right. Okay, rat-like. Perfect. Okay. All right, and then what's next? Character traits.
Speech.
Yeah, speech first.
Cryptic.
Oh.
Me too.
Cryptic. That's hard. I remember when I played the first Cairn, the first edition. I think my character spoke in riddles, if I remember correctly. That's really difficult.
Yeah.
To constantly speak in riddles.
I kind of want to change mine. Cryptic
You can
sounds-
yeah. If anyone is not happy with what they rolled, by all means, roll again. So.
A formal, stout, sunken-faced, frizzy-haired.
Yeah, so if you guys watching out there, if these characters drastically change when we kick off this adventure, you'll know what happened. People are like, I'm not a stout, frizzy-haired, sunken-faced person. I'm not playing this person. All right, so we got speech for everybody. Clothing is up next.
Clothing.
Let's see what we got for clothing.
Where's clothing at? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, definitely, Bunny. This is a motley looking crew so far. I can't wait to. I love these roll tables because then we go back to the beginning, and we have everybody kind of describe their character, and it's fun to see it all come together. Ducky, you have bloody clothing, man. I don't know what happened, but that's probably a cool tale to tell. Joey's got livery, and Jess has got elegant, and Matt's got elegant as well. I think your character, Matt, is starting to feel like very, very thief. You know, like someone who can kind of like.
It is.
Yeah, like, you know, stand side by side with nobles, or is, you know, accustomed to that in a way.
Yeah, I actually
your long
really
hair.
like my role so far.
Okay, cool.
Oh. I'm trying to decide if I want to reroll livery because nothing really says in my background that I would be wearing that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Like,
I
don't serve anybody.
Yeah, these are all like, unless like that was some kind of, I think these are all real elements to kind of like even develop your backstory further.
Rancid, much better.
Rancid, perfect. Okay, then next up is going to be virtue. Got to roll virtues and vices here. This is where things get really interesting RP wise. Okay, we got humble for Matt, a humble thief, humble cup purse. I like it. Courageous for Joey, humble for Ducky as well.
I think Matt's more humble though.
You think what? Matt's more
Matt's more humble.
I like it. I see what you did there. Honorable for Jess. Okay, these are your virtues. Now, what about vices, everybody? Let's see what you just have what's your negative trait? What's your negative trait here? Matt is vengeful. Joey's aggressive. Jess is aggressive as well. And Ducky, you're bitter. I'm curious to find out what you're bitter about.
You know, getting lost in the forest, just terrible.
Yeah, maybe that's you spend so much time out there, but you still. It's like me and Dragonbane rules. Like, no matter how many times I play the game, I always forget. Whereas you, like, you're out in the wood all the time, and you're just like, man, you'd think I'd know my way around this place.
Well,
okay, bonds. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'll go ahead and re-roll so we have something other than just two aggressives.
Yeah. Like I said, anybody wants to roll anything.
I am not gonna have to role play very hard.
Yeah, you guys just go do that. I'll just hang out here.
That's a perfect group, actually, though. Vengeful, aggressive, bitter, and then the lazy guy. Oh, that's fine. They're just like that.
Yeah. Okay, bonds are up next.
Wow.
I didn't see a table for that.
So oh, really? Okay.
You might just have to roll.
Just roll a d20 then, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the second edition stuff, like all of it's made it over yet. Maybe not. So we got a 2 for Jess. So for 2, a distant cousin left you a small inheritance. Take 20 gold pieces and a strange compass, which is petty, that always points towards something deep in the wood. That's cool. Matt, you got a 7, which is you protect a long dormant family secret. Take 1/2 of an ancient key, which is petty. They say that if joined with its twin, it opens a gate. Bolded. So a gate is an entrance into the roots. So the underworld kind of, or the magical, whatever it is. The place, you don't want to go down there through any door.
That's
wait.
Great.
A gate through any door. Okay. Never mind. I read that wrong. I could have sworn I read a gate is like a portal into the underworld, but anyway, we can figure that out later. Joey, you got a 3. You carry a hand-drawn portrait of a past love who disappeared into the wood long ago. Somehow you know that they are still alive. And Ducky 4. So you found a tiny crystal prism buried in the dirt. When held up to the light, it shows visions of an unknown location deep within the wood. Sometimes you feel a presence looking back at you. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Those are all your bonds, everybody. Omens, I think it's only the youngest player rolls those, right? Or as well as you. Right, Joey? I think your background. Mm-hmm. So where is age? We forgot to roll age.
The youngest player or the youngest character?
So yeah, we forgot to do this. So finally roll for your character's age. It's 2d20 plus 10. If you are the youngest character, roll on the omens table, page 14. The result should be read aloud to the other players. The warden should incorporate omens into the setting as they see fit. So nobody can know yours, Joey, as stated in the book, but so what ages we got here? Did you forget to add plus 10?
Oh, I did, 10? But I got 36 if I add 10 to my roll.
And then Matt, you should have done plus. Would you do plus
10? 4? So it'd be 26 that I rolled.
Okay.
Instead of 24.
Okay. Oh, Ducky's 39. Jess is 21. So the youngest would be Jess. So you need to roll on the omens table. So just roll a d20 when you're ready. And we will see what the omen is. So you got a 10?
Yeah.
So 10 is... Strange cracks have appeared in the night sky, revealing a swirling vortex of light and color. Some say that the divide between realms is at its weakest in centuries and fear what may emerge from the other side. Okay. So I don't think you have the rule book, do you? So I'll just put it in the chat so you can drop it in your character sheet. And so I guess everybody else can read it who's watching. Okay. Is that it? Are we done? Do we create characters?
I got an interesting omen and I wish I could share it.
I'm guessing you tell me, and then I will incorporate it into the game.
All right, yeah,
somehow.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's actually fitting.
That's good. And I think that's it. Yeah, characters are done.
We all roll for an omen, right?
No. Only the youngest player. Or character, I should say.
Oh, character.
Yeah,
okay.
So Joey's character, part of his background, said he rolls for an omen as well, regardless of age. Whereas in the game, there's only one omen, and it's the youngest character.
And I keep mine private.
I guess that makes sense, because if there were if all of you guys had omens, I mean, the world's going to be all kinds of crazy, probably. Might get too out of hand.
We need names.
Yeah, if you guys decided on names, I won't put you on the spot if you guys want to think of your own, but all of the backgrounds have, they all have names as well. If you want to just choose one of those too.
I'm gonna go with Rune.
Rune? R-U-N-E?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I went with Ash.
Ash? I guess I can start updating the overlay while we're live here. Where is the overlay?
I picked Sparrow.
Okay.
Sparrow?
So...
Nice.
You're like, I'm not calling you that. So Jess is Rune. Matt is Sparrow. Let me update these. And
I'm going to name myself Erasmus.
Erasmus. Okay, Ducky, you are Ash. Is that with an E at the end? Or just ASH?
Sure.
Okay.
ASH.
Okay. All right, and you're gonna go with Erasmus.
Yep. Erazmus.
Oh wait, let me get to this. Let me get to this name thing here. Okay, spell it again for me. Erazmus.
Yep.
All right. I made the name just long enough to fit Erasmus. Okay, cool.
Also, it won't allow me to add a container, so I can't make the backpack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says we get backpacks with 6 slots, but when I do create container in the container tab, it says user Joey lacks permission to be cool.
Oh, all right. Let me try it. Maybe I needed to go and tweak permissions so you guys can create stuff. But I'm going to update this really quick. So let me save that and hopefully the overlay. Yeah, it's updated. So everybody should see names now. All right, let me go back to Foundry and look at Erasmus. So you were adding a backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Container. Well, you did item. Wait, what did you do? Create item?
I went to add container in the containers.
Oh,
tab.
there we go. There we go. Add container. All right, backpack. And what is a backpack? It's 3 slots?
6.
6. All right, 6. Bam. You have a backpack. Everybody has one, so I will add one to everybody's character sheet.
Yeah, it says each PC starts with a backpack that can hold up to 6 slots of items.
Nice.
Or fatigue.
Or fatigue. Which we should talk about very soon. Okay, so backpack. You're able to add items though, okay? I saw everybody was populating their character sheets, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I typed all mine in manually after after Ducky found them. I was like, oh man.
See, anybody watching and using Foundry, now you know, learn from our mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody should have a backpack. Backpack. So do we want to do like a quick round table and talk about everybody's character briefly? Like appearance and stuff?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick before you do, so we don't move past it, and my name on the overlay is misspelled.
Oh, sorry. That's all
okay. Just wanted to mention it.
Oh, I forgot the A. Oops. All right, there we go. All right, update. Okay. There we go. You're Sparrow now, not Sparrow. Sparrow. Okay, so do we want to talk about everybody's characters? Shall we?
Sure.
Who wants to start?
Matt does.
He's like, nah, not really.
I'll go.
Let's go reverse order.
Yeah, okay. So Ducky, go for it.
Oh, okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, I am Ash. I forgot to write down my character class.
You're the
Green Vine?
Green, yeah, something.
Greenwise.
Greenwise.
That's the one.
I got them all right here in case people forget the names. I'm at the table of contents.
He wears bloody clothes. He has a rat-like face, but a towering physique, and to match that, frizzy hair. He speaks formally, and he's humble, but he also comes off as bitter. A close friend of his disappeared into the forest, so now he sees their face in any tea he brews. So he tends to avoid tea, but everyone else around him always seems to be thirsty.
Yeah.
And then he found a tiny crystal prism buried in the dirt. When he holds it up to the light, it shows a vision of an unknown location deep within the wood. And sometimes a presence is looking back at him, kind of reminiscent of the face he sees, possibly his lost friend.
Interesting. So these could be tied together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. I guess Matt would be next, I think, right? Are we going that way backward? Or are we going the other way backward? We're going Joey this way.
All right. I am playing Erasmus, the Foundling. I'm not really sure what exactly a foundling is in this context. It spoke of me being touched by elsewhere.
The touch of elsewhere still lingers, yeah.
Yeah, is that kind of like Feywild type?
Yeah,
stuff?
I mean, if you look at the artwork, it does look somewhat Fey, somewhat halfling-esque, I guess. Not necessarily.
Oh, I don't see any artwork on this.
Oh, yeah, you don't have the PDF.
Yeah, I'm just using the link that you
Oh,
sent.
the website. Okay, so on the stream, I'm showing the artwork. So it's like this. Looks like a woman who's kind of dressed in this fuzzy cloak, smoking a little pipe.
Okay.
I'm adorable.
I'm like Link.
Okay.
All right. But I'm really tall because I'm towering.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Tattooed skin. I imagine that Erasmus has he has tattoos of, to go with the Link motif, he's got tattoos of monsters and their weak spots.
Oh, dang, that's specific.
So, like, when he's defeated monsters in the past, he got tattoos on his body that show you where to hit them to kill them easier.
Nice.
His curly hair is... Let's see, we're gonna go with dirty blonde. Sharp face, so probably doesn't look too friendly. But
you said you were adorable, though.
Yeah, like pouty, adorable. So my rancid clothes are rancid because I'm too lazy to wash them, which is one of my problems. I'm very lazy.
Yeah.
And hey, this goes with the Link motif too. Courageous virtue. I'm very lazy, but I'm also like that employee who works overtime whenever they're asked. Don't like it, but I rise to the occasion. I'm lazy, but I complain while doing the work, not before doing it. And I carry that portrait.
Oh, right.
Of a past love, and who disappeared into the wood long ago. And somehow I know they're still alive, but part of me kind of doesn't care because I'm lazy, and going into a wood to find them could be a lot of effort. That they're a past love. Are they really even that into me? I don't know. If
I have
the
to ask,
occasion occurs.
did the loss of this love make you lazy, or have you always been this way?
Oh, absolutely. Erasmus was a very stand-up foundling, and when this chick broke his heart, he just lost all motivation. He needs more iron, vitamin D. He's always tired, and yeah, he lost a lot of his motivation in life.
Okay.
And he's got to get that back.
I like that C Jack KDC said when you're too lazy to wash your clothes, that's called depression.
That might be why she left me.
I also have to mention Bunny's comment too. She said, "Ducky, I think you just described Howard Stern pretty well." So,
oh my god, I'm Howard Stern from the forest.
Howard Stern of the forest. Yeah, rat face, really tall, frizzy hair. That sounds like Howard Stern.
It does.
Oh man. Now I'm only gonna picture you as Howard Stern. Oh,
and he's often bitter.
Yeah, bitter. You're right. Wow, spot on.
Right. Well, I know how to get into character, and I apologize in advance.
Oh. But I think as for Erasmus, I think that does it. He's good with the dagger, good with the sling.
Okay.
And yeah, he's a little weird.
Okay. Finally, let's talk to Jess about Rune.
All right, so I am a Rune, and I am an Orifex.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I am stout, but somehow managed to have a sunken face. I have frizzy hair and dark skin, and I'm wearing elegant clothes. I'm honorable yet aggressive. At some point, I dematerialized my beloved cat, and now it follows me around, invisible but always present. Let's see, I also carry a strange compass from a distant cousin. I have a blast sphere. I wear protective gloves. What else? My weapon is a needle knife. I don't even know what that is.
I guess
Like-
like a very
like what Arya
like a
has?
stiletto kind of or something, you know, like a very tiny, like a very narrow, pointy knife.
Okay.
I guess it could be whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of like a potion person.
Yeah, you're like a kind of an alchemist. So some experiment went awry and you destroyed your cat, but thankfully something in the concoction allowed it to survive invisibly. All right, cool. Well, those are the characters, and again, you
I
guys.
haven't gone yet.
Oh
I haven't.
shit! Sorry, man. I forgot. I'm used to starting the other way.
No worries. So Sparrow, she kind of her roles kind of went. They kind of went together. There wasn't any really outliers. Stout physique, pale skin, long hair, soft face, blunt speech, elegant clothing, virtuous, humble, but vice is vengeful. So as they were coming out, I was kind of picturing like if you remember Daria from Beavis and Butthead, the girl at school that hated them.
I do remember Daria.
Or Audrey Plaza from her character from Parks and Rec. So kind of like
perfect,
sarcastic and like dark, and just uninterested in everything going on. So yeah, I think that's kind of how I'm going to play. Except for like instead of working for the recreation department of some government agency, she's a thief.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that should be really fun.
I can't wait to hear Aubrey Plaza or Daria speak.
And that's Sparrow.
Cool. Oh yeah, Joey, I know you were going to pick an accent at some point. Have you thought about that? That's like your game. Last Donovan was Sean Connery.
Oh, I haven't for this one because I kind of had to see what
you're going to be.
What I was going to be. But yeah, don't worry, I'll think of something.
Cool. So, any questions, concerns before we move on to briefly touch on the rules? Because I think that's
nope.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely be. I actually have the book. I need to read it though. The player's handbook.
Yeah, the rules are super simple, which we'll get into. So I already went over inventory, HP, hit protection. That is. Let's go to. Man, let me go back to the contents. It's going to be easier to click. Okay. Backgrounds did it. Okay, core rules. So we'll go through this pretty quickly because I think what's going to happen is we're going to just go into depth as we play this game, and learn as we go. And then hopefully you guys who are more familiar in the stream in the comments will remind me of when I'm wrong or when we're wrong. So we talked about the attributes already, what those represent. Pretty straightforward. So saves. A save is a roll to avoid negative outcomes from risky choices. Characters roll d20. You compare the result to the appropriate attribute, and it's equal or under. Success, otherwise a fail. A 1 is always success. A 20 is always a fail. But also, if two opponents are each trying to overcome the other, so kind of a contested thing, whoever is most at risk should save. And also, if two characters need to take an action together, whatever that might be, whoever is most at risk should save. So that's going to make it a little bit more difficult, I guess, if you guys try to do things together. Healing and recovery. So this is what I was talking about with HP. So resting for a few moments and having a drink of water restores lost HP, but may leave the party exposed. Bandage can stabilize a character that has taken critical damage. We'll talk about attribute loss. So this is what happens when it spills over. When you run out of hit protection, it goes into strength. Most of the time, I think there's traps and other things that take away from dexterity or will. Some healing services are free, while magical or more expedient means of recovery may come at a cost. So here's deprivation of fatigue. That was mentioned a couple times in the character info. So if you have a crucial need such as food or rest, you're deprived with a capital D. And anyone who is deprived for more than a day adds fatigue to their inventory. So I think there's a little fatigue ticker on your character sheets. And what that does is just kind of demonstrating you're not doing so well, meaning you can't carry a whole lot of stuff. And also, if you cannot recover HP, attributes, or item slots either, if you're deprived. And I believe fatigue also, if you have to add fatigue and your inventory is full, you have to drop an item because it's always an item slot. So a PC may also be forced to add fatigue, here we go, after casting spells, due to events occurring in the fiction or due to events occurring in the fiction. Each fatigue occupies one slot and lasts until the PC is able to recuperate. That's a full night's rest in a safe spot. And there's what I talked about. If you have to add fatigue and you can't because your inventory is full, you got to drop an item. So armor, this is all familiar to you guys with damage soak, even though it's kind of different. You subtract the target's armor value from the resulting damage roll. Shield as well. I don't think anybody has a shield though, right? But that adds like a +1 armor, but only while held or worn. A PC, that doesn't really matter. So reactions. This is the fun old school reaction table where when an NPC whose reaction is going to be not known or not obvious, I should say, then I roll on that table. Morale. This is when just kind of more for me. So they'll have to do a will test if they're fleeing after their first casualty, and again when they're half their numbers gone. Lone foes must save when they're reduced to 0 HP. Morale does not affect PCs though. I don't think we really need to talk about hirelings. I don't know if you guys will be doing that a whole lot in this short adventure we're going to play. This is really cool though, Die of Fate. So Die of Fate. If the outcome of an event is uncertain, or to stimulate an element of randomness and chance, you roll a 1d6. And for a 4 or more, generally favors the PCs, while a 3 or under means bad luck. So that's kind of a cool little, we often, when we're playing these games, we get in situations where we're like, I don't know, I mean, maybe, and then now there's a mechanic for it. Combat. So this is what I was talking to you guys about off stream. So the way combat works and dungeon procedures as well is when it's obviously 10 seconds. That's pretty much standard for most games. But it starts each round with all PCs that are able to act first, followed by their opponents. And all of these things happen simultaneously. And during the first round of combat, though, you guys all have to make a dex save. This is kind of interesting because if you fail the dex save, you don't get to act that first round. That's only in the first round, though. So I guess it's maybe like, oh, crap, what's going on? I didn't have enough time to get my shit ready, so I can't go this round.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of different. So there's really no initiative in this whatsoever. You guys all go first, enemies go second, and then we go back and forth. Let's see here. It does note, though, that you may have abilities or items or skills that negate the requirement. And then let's see what else. Their opponents, when take their turn, first round, their next round begins. Oh yeah, that's what I just said. So actions. Oops, what did I do? Did I skip? There we go. So actions. So on your turn, you may move up to 40 feet and take up to one action. Maybe casting a spell, attacking, moving for a second time, or some other reasonable action. So it sounds to me like, I know in a lot of games we play strategically in such a way where you split your movement. To me, it sounds like in this game, you decide how far you're going to move to do this thing, and that's it. Or you're moving twice as long, kind of like a dash or whatever they're called in other games. And let's see. So this is what's unique about this game too, is often I just say, hey Jess, what are you doing? Okay, Joey, what are you doing? And it's all initiative order. In this game, you guys all tell me what you want to do first, and then we see what happens after that. So it's not like you're kind of bouncing off someone else's action, because all of it kind of reinforces the simultaneous nature of combat. So the first thing we'll all do, or I'll ask you guys, okay, what all of you guys are doing, and then we'll roll and see what happens. Let's see. If a character attempts something risky, the warden calls for a save for appropriate players. Okay. So damage, attacking and damage. The attacker rolls their weapon die and subtracts the target armor, then deals the remaining total to their opponent's HP. If multiple attackers target the same foe, roll all damage dice and keep the single highest result. So this is kind of different too, because you could be in a fight where there's a group of people and maybe they all run at one person or attack them in the same round, because that's happened before when we're kind of moving in a linear fashion. But here it's like you just take the highest result rather than having individual damage. And then if the attack would take a PC's HP exactly to 0. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with the scars. So if you go to exactly 0, we go to the scars table, and we see, depending on how much damage took you to 0, we get to see what that result is. And I already showed that, so I won't go back. Attack modifier. So this is kind of like, I don't want to call it advantage disadvantage, but if you are fighting from a position of weakness, such as through cover or with bound hands, the attack is impaired, and the attacker must roll 1d4 regardless of your die. So if you have a dagger or a sword that's 1d6 and you're having a tough time attacking, it's automatically going to be a 1d4. However, if you're fighting from a position of advantage, such as against a helpless foe through a daring maneuver, the attack is enhanced, allowing the attacker to roll 1d12 damage instead of their normal die. So rather than, I guess because you're never really rolling to hit in this game, they had to figure out, well, what's the bonus? It's just higher damage. And then here we talk about blast quality, which is an area of effect kind of thing, where you roll the damage for each individual person who's attacked. And then if that's unknown, then you roll that damage die, and if it's like, let's say it's a 5 of you guys are attacked, or whatever the number might be. That's like Dragon's Breath, impact of a meteorite, and I think it's Jess, you have the explosive thing, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Yeah, Blaz. Yeah, so here's the thing for Matt's character, because I believe you have 2 daggers, right? This is when you're attacking with 2 weapons at the same time. You roll both the damage dice and keep the single highest roll. And then there's critical damage. So this is what I'm talking about. When you go below 0, it subtracts from your strength, which is an interesting concept that most games don't do. But then the target must immediately make a strength save to avoid taking critical damage using their new strength score. So you remove the strength and then roll the save. On a success, the target is still in the fight, albeit with a lower strength score, and must continue to make critical damage saves when incurring damage. So basically, when you suffer this critical damage, you are just crawling weakly, grasping for life. If you are given an aid, such as bandages, you will stabilize though. But if left untreated, you will die within the hour. So that's pretty rough. I'm not sure if anybody has bandages, but might be something you want to pick up. This does not occur to, what does it say? I think it's when, let's see here, NPCs and monsters that fail a critical damage save, yeah, they're dead. So that's a little bit different than PCs. So if your strength is reduced to 0, you die. If your dex is reduced to 0, you are paralyzed. If your will is reduced to 0, you are delirious. Complete dex and will loss renders the character unable to act until they are restored through extended rest or by extraordinary means. If a PC takes damage outside of combat, they should instead receive damage to an attribute, typically strength. That's interesting. So you could immediately start losing attribute damage if you're non-combat, or attribute points. Character death. That's just, hey, make a new character or take over hireling. Detachments is a little different. That's when it's kind of like a group attack. They're fighting together as a single entity, and I think it's all like blast damage, pretty much usually on the stat blocks. But then here we go. Attacks against detachments by individuals are impaired, excluding blast. So if you are attacking like a swarm of rats, then your attack will be impaired. If you but then detachments are enhanced. This is something I'm really gonna have to remember, because that's a very key thing. So if you guys are trying to run away, it's a dex check, as well as safe destination to run to. So that, I think we'll have to play that out. I was actually asking this question on the Cairn Discord server about, well, typically when people are trying to escape, it's like a group thing. Mm-hmm. And then the game designer himself replied and said that it's the one who has the most to lose. So I mean, that makes sense, right? If you're like trying to all escape at the same time, you're only as strong as the weakest link, pretty much, because they're the ones straggling behind or something.
Right.
Ranged attacks. Let's see. This is an interesting way. I like the description here. You can target any enemy near enough to see the whites of their eyes, and then but especially distant targets are impaired. The attacks. Ammunition is not tracked, so that's cool. Scars we talked about already. That's when you go exactly to 0. And magic is pretty simple. Anybody can cast a spell. Spellbooks contain only one spell, so it's not like a grimoire where you get a bunch of spells. They can easily be transcribed or created. Instead, they are recovered from cannot be easily transcribed or created. You find them in tombs and dungeons, of course, or manors. Let's see. There's also scrolls. Oh, but anyway, casting spells, you add a fatigue when you do it. Given enough time and safety, PCs can enhance a spell's impact, affecting multiple targets. So I guess that's sort of a narrative thing, a fiction first kind of thing. So if you have an idea about how to enhance a spell, as long as it makes narrative sense, you can do so. Let's see. May or may not have to take a will check if you're in danger, but we'll see how it goes. Scrolls are similar to spell books. They're petty. They do not cause fatigue though, but they disappear after one use. So it's kind of like old school. I remember like in old D&D where it would just like whoosh, burst up in flame. Relics are items imbued with magical spell or power. They do not cause fatigue. So like magical items. So really quickly, that's the rule. So pretty simple. Dungeon exploration. So this is one thing that really set this game apart for me. This is definitely more of an old school kind of somewhat simulationist board game kind of mechanic where you guys all go into a dungeon. You guys all have a turn. So every room, let's say, quote unquote room, is a series of turns and actions. So it's very similar to combat where you can move about 40 feet, equal to the torch sliced perimeter, and perform one action. So I go around the table, I say, what is everybody doing? And then you all tell me what you're doing, and then we kind of just see what happens. But what happens, if you guys hang out too long in an area, players can use their action to move up to 3 times. Oh wait, I missed something. Through the will extended and triggering. Oh yeah, dungeon events table. So the ward should present obvious information about the area. So that's another thing. You guys always ask me and ask me again and ask me again if I don't describe things, or because this game's really I think there's a tenet in it as well, or a philosophy where it's not just you, it's you and your character. So I know a lot of old school games are that way when you're kind of faced with puzzles. You know, the character's not really solving the puzzle, it's the player solving the puzzle. So there's that slight divide. But yeah, moving quickly or without caution may increase the chance of encountering a wandering monster. So basically, if you guys hang out in a room too long, I'll roll a dungeon event, and something might or might not happen. Or if you do something risky like break down a door, trigger a trap, something like that, maybe that will trigger an event. But here's the exploration cycle. Pretty much already talked about that. Here's the dungeon events here, so you can see what happens. So if you spend more than 1 dungeon cycle in a single room or location, or if you move quickly or haphazardly through a room, moves into a narrow area or zone, creates a loud disturbance. And this is the table, so there's encounter tables that are unique to every adventure, so you'd roll on that. Might get a clue though. Something with the environment might happen. There might be a loss of some kind. Your torches are blown out. A spell fizzles. The party must resolve the effects before moving on. Exhaustion. You guys might need to add fatigue. Or quiet. You are left alone. Hopefully you guys always roll 6s. This talks about actions, what they are. Searching. A character can spend a turn performing an exhaustive search for one object or location. So you can see how this is definitely a procedure with a capital P. But we can go through this and note this as we play. But yeah, you guys just think of it like, hey, I can do one thing and move per turn. And it doesn't have to be a small thing. It can be something, reasonable, like it says right here, exhaustively searching one object or location in an area. So you could say, I want to check out this part of the room in detail. And in that case, like, I'm not making you roll to find stuff. I'm going to tell you what you find. What else? Although it sounds like here, larger rooms and difficult or complex dungeon terrain may take a few turns.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we go, talking about resting. So a character can spend a turn resting to restore all HP. No rolls needed. But you need a light source in a safe location. So you can't be near danger. But resting does not restore fatigue. So you have to make camp. I think you have to spend, it was like a full night's rest to restore fatigue. There's also this thing called panic, which is kind of like fear. A character that is surrounded by enemies, enveloped in darkness, or facing their greatest fears may experience panic. Then you roll against will, which is very familiar from our Dragonbane days. To avoid losing control and becoming panicked. A panicked character must make a will save to overcome their condition as an action on their turn. So basically you're kind of in a panic loop until you get yourself out of that. You have 0 HP though. Does not act as the first round of combat, and all of their attacks are impaired. Dungeon elements, we don't need to really go into this. Too detailed. Traps. So that's another thing too. I will tell you if things look like they're traps, because right here, traps can usually be detected by carefully searching a room. So you're never gonna run into a situation where you like fall into the ground or, you know, whatever, arrows come out and shoot you. So, but again, I think this game is really encouraging you guys to ask a lot of questions, be very interactive with the environment, because as you can tell, there's not a lot of rolling involved. They try to like, it's almost like rolling for as a last resort, or only when you're doing something risky, not for mundane things like perceptive tasks or anything like that, like finding prints on the floor, or you know, a strange part of the wall looks off that's a secret button or something. You know, you guys will just find that as long as you're, hey, I'm searching this wall. Oh, and this is where it talks about traps can be taken from strength or dex, but not from HP. Armor can reduce the damage. I'm not going to go into wilderness exploration because I don't think in our adventure we're going to do anything like that, but this kind of separates, like, or it explains how long a day is, what you can do, all the travel stuff. So what the weather's like, or the paths are like, how long they are, what the terrain difficulty, etc., etc. You can see there's a little diagram if you're watching us on YouTube, where you can kind of see how this is, rather than giving like, oh, you can travel, you know, 15 kilometers in a day, it's more broken up into watches. But the adventure we're going to be playing doesn't use this because it's all kind of in a pretty contained area, so we don't need to worry about it. Weather, same thing. Won't get into the weeds in that. Sleep. Wait, let's talk about sleep really quick. I think that was you make camp. Yeah, you need to sleep each day. If the party skips make camp, they can each add a fatigue. We already talked about that. Okay. Light sources, we talked about that. You guys all have torches or lanterns. We don't need to talk about wilderness exploration, but there's downtime stuff, which I don't think we need to talk about either. That's going to be for another time, maybe. Downtime, same thing. Because I think we'll just be pushing forward in this adventure and wrapping it. And then maybe we'll deal with this stuff if we decide to play another adventure. So briefly, the setting of Vald, it's pretty vague, but you can tell this game is very much geared toward it's kind of like countrysides and forests and little villages and stuff. There are big cities, but it seems like anyway the most of the goings on, let's call it, are more like countryside events where you're going to a small town and exploring dungeons or going through forests and stuff. Less like urban adventure kind of things. But there could be. It's not, you can't, because it says right here, yeah, you basically refer to the local centers of power as the cities. So a very generic term. But I think tonally, the designer wanted to have this kind of countryside vibe to the whole thing.
Yeah, it feels like you're like you are the little beacons of hope, torchlight hope in the darkness and mysteriousness of the world around.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're on the fringe almost, right? You're in the in-between spaces out of all the bustle of the city and stuff. You're doing all these, not, again, you can play in the city for sure, but yeah, it's cool. I like it because it's kind of like more, I've never been a huge fan of the complexity of big cities and massive populations and stuff. I've always liked the idea of playing games where you're traveling through this mysterious wood or finding a ruin or a dungeon, and there's just a little town. I mean, very similar to how Dragon Bane, it just had like a central small town, and then everything else was wilderness, which was pretty cool. And then the wood, this is something that I guess you might want to read about, Ducky, because you are hanging out in the wood. So this wood, as in capital W, surrounds and divides the realm, representing not just one forest, but all forests. So denizens of the wood are fiercely independent, believing they are subject solely to its rules. And at the core of each forest is a heart tree, the place where the forest is at its most powerful as well as its most dangerous. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I won't go into too much depth. The final thing is the roots. It's a realm of mystery and horrors underground, where vast caves loom as large as emptied ocean, without even a hint of sunlight. So this is almost like the Underdark, or like just some crazy ass underground, mysterious, probably don't want to go there place. Mm-hmm. But this is what I was talking about. So entrances to the routes known as gates with a capital G are scattered across the lands and are usually hidden or protected by powerful forces. And I think, was it you, your character, Matt, or somebody had like you can open a gate? Wasn't it? It was somebody.
One of my, let's see, where was it? My bond, that I have a half of an ancient key that can open a gate through any door. So
okay. Yeah,
seems like it's like a kind of like a magical key that that will like create a like portal into the roots through a normal door.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's fun.
Well, that's it. I'm not going to go into too much more depth. Those are the characters. That's the world. That's the game. Come hang out with us next week as we stumble our way through all these things. Learn from our mistakes. Tell us what we do wrong. Yeah, I don't try to pretend to run these games perfectly. It's a great learning experience, and I kind of just like diving into it and feeling my way around. So, yeah, players, any other last thoughts, parting words before we call it? Anything in the chat? Any questions or anything from anybody?
I'm excited. I've heard a lot about this game, and character creation was fun, and I can't wait to play.
Cool.
I'm gonna have a fun time trying to think of how to cryptically speak. I think I already have an idea of how I'll do it, and
okay.
If I go with this idea, I just want to warn everybody ahead of time. It's gonna be ridiculous, and it won't make sense.
That's okay. And again, if anybody wants to tweak their characters or their roles, if you guys have second thoughts, by all means, go for it. No pressure. And for you guys who are listening on the podcast or watching us right now, the adventure we're going to play is Trouble in Twin Lakes. I'm going to show it. Yeah, there, it'll focus right now. There's a little interesting like zombie hand rising from the earth. I wonder what that could mean. So this is the first standalone adventure that came with a box set. There's also, again, if you guys like box sets like me, highly recommend this one. It also came with this, which is an adventure anthology. So I believe there are 3 additional adventures in this one too. So
that is a weird cover.
It is. It's like a weird crying pillar rising from, I don't know, bursting forth from the ground, but then there's also people crawling up there too. Yeah,
it looks weird. Like the background of a Mortal Kombat stage.
Yeah, it does for sure. Yeah, cool. Well, those of you who stayed with us for this long, thanks so much. And if you're watching us on the VOD, thank you as well. So yeah, we'll be here next week to kick off Trouble in Twin Lakes. I guess we didn't really get into it too much, but there's probably going to be some discussion maybe offline between all of us to figure out like, well, why are you guys together? Do you guys have any links to maybe where you're going? Like, why are you out in the wilderness wandering? Stuff like that. But we can figure that out off stream. Just so we kind of know you guys are sort of like why you're hanging out together and why you're on this road together. So, cool. Thanks everybody. So Sam, good night. McGlintlock, what's up, man? It's been a while. The mighty McGlintlock is in the chat. He is the developer of all of the Merkborg systems and books, and I think he did all the. Yeah, he did all of them, I think. But he's an awesome dude. He also did. He was involved with what's that book that just came out? Glumdark. Ooh. That's his baby. So he did all the. I subscribed to the Patreon a long ass time ago, during the Merkborg days, and it's a bunch of really cool random tables. They had a really successful Kickstarter, which I also backed. It's a really cool book.
Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah. And Bunny, if you're not at work, you would have fun rolling a character. You need to think about priorities. No worries. Well, thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week when we kick this thing off. And it'll be a good time. I swear. I promise. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you next time.